Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we are looking at the candidate shortlist for the 2024 Montana Senate race. So this was the next competitive race on my list to do, so let's jump straight into it and I'll let you know the Republican bench is surprisingly really empty. And I know I'm going to make some people mad by not adding a certain someone on this list, but I don't care, he's not that great. But anyway, starting off with our number 10 spot, and the number 5 Republican is a radio host by the name of Chuck Baldwin. Right now, I believe he's part of the American Independent Party, but for this, we'll say he's a Republican because that's what he would be. And he was also the Constitution Party nominee for vice president in 2004. If you don't know what the Constitution Party is, it's a party's ideology that is based off of paleoconservatism. Just look at Red Eagle Politics and you'll know what paleoconservatism is. So his pros do not outweigh his cons. For his pros, he is a foreign isolationist and an economic libertarian. That's it. His cons are pretty vast, and I couldn't even fit them all on here. Cons, he has a history of comparing politicians to Nazis. Hell, he's still doing it. Doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat, he's calling you a Nazi. If you're anyone from George W. Bush to Barack Obama to Anthony Fauci, he's called you a Nazi. He's also far-right on abortion, saying that there should be a total ban, no exceptions whatsoever. He's also against women in the military. Never gave a reason for that, though. He's not a paleocon, despite being associated with paleoconservative groups. He's more of a paleo-libertarian amongst the likes of people like Ron Paul and Ahmed Bundy. So, you know, a very, very tiny government. As Rand Paul would say, so small you couldn't barely see it. He's also would be seen as a carpetbagger, seeing that he is from Florida and he moved to Montana. So, as we've seen that carpetbagging is a big issue, still, it might affect him. Also, whenever he does a speech, he kind of sounds like a Karen, similar to Josh Hawley. He's pretty much as bad as Hawley when it comes to his speeches. Also, he's a major conspiracy theorist. Might as well throw that out there. Also, the MAGA base would hate him and would probably cost him the Senate seat, because Trump does not like this guy due to past statements Chuck Baldwin's made about Trump. He's called Trump a Zionist puppet. Yeah, this guy's a nutcase, and yes, he is the 5th strongest Republican. I'm not joking. Stronger than Matt Rosendale. Fight me. Also, our number 9 candidate and the number 5 Democrat is the United States Department of Interior Public Lands Director Steve Bullock. He was appointed by Deb Haaland for that position. So yes, he is currently working in the Biden administration. Fun fact. So pros about this guy is that he supports campaign finance reform, and he's also won 3 elections in a red state, as he said on the second debate stage. Cons about this guy, he's far left on abortion. He does not support any form of exceptions, or he doesn't support any form of restrictions on abortion. He's pro-choice all the way. Not a good idea when you're running in Montana. Probably why he lost to Steve Daines by 10. Or was it 11? One of the two. He's also far left on immigration. He's done things such as, deny a citizens' referendum that would have denied illegal immigrants from being paid to work. He kind of said, no, illegal immigrants are now allowed to work without a visa. He did that as Attorney General of Montana, by the way. He also supports the death penalty. I don't know why you would as a Democrat, or why you would in general, but he does. He's not as great as I thought he was. Our number 8 candidate and the number 4 Republican is a former state senator out of Montana, that being John Sanju, a Republican. Pros about this guy is that he is a favorite among Montana voters despite not being in office anymore. He's still talked about to this day in Montana circles. Don't know why. He's not that influential from what I hear, but he's still talked about quite a bit. Cons, he's still a political unknown despite losing a statewide election. He was the lieutenant governor nominee in 2012, I believe, and he lost to the Bullock Cooney ticket. So, there you go. The number 7 candidate, number 7 candidate and the number 4 Democrat is the Helena mayor, Wilmot Collins. Sorry, I had to count because I feel like I'm off. So, pros about this guy is, as mayor, he has decreased housing costs in his city, which is a Democrat city, by the way. He's one of the few Democrat mayors to do so. So that's a good thing about him. He's got that to his credit. Also, he has ancestral Democrat appeal, which lets him win all these elections in his hometown by a massive landslide, because Helena really is that big of a Democrat stronghold. It's not a swing area, but it's still not a Democrat stronghold. You know what I mean? It's like left-leaning, like reliably Democrat, but it could flip red. You feel what I mean? Cons, he supports resettling refugees. He has on many occasions said that we should resettle refugees anytime he gets the chance to, and that will hurt him in a statewide race in Montana. Our number 6 candidate in the number 3 Republican is former Montana Attorney General Tim Fox. Pros, this guy is tough on sexual assault crimes, and I'm pretty sure every Attorney General in this country is, and that's a good thing. Cons, he is a 2020 election truther, but that probably won't hurt him as badly as in Montana. Maybe the suburbs, but that's not really a big deal. Also, he's a generic Republican, not really that big of, things about him. He's boring. What can I say? He's boring. Number 5 candidate and the number 3 Democrat is Whitney Williams, the daughter of former Congressman Pat Williams. She is a philanthropist, has done many philanthropy in her life. She's also a conservative Democrat, and when it comes to economics, she's also a Ross Perot-style reformist, as her family's been compared to Perot in his economics many times. Cons, she's a political unknown. She's ran once, to my knowledge, and she lost by 9 points to Mike Cooney in the Democrat primary, which you would think is not a good thing, but she was running against the incumbent lieutenant governor and only lost by 9, so that was a pretty good showing for her, considering the fact she'd never held public office and really wasn't running on her father's name, which is a good thing, by the way. Our number 4 candidate and the number 2 Democrat is going to be former Governor Bryant Schwitzer. Pros, he's got libertarian appeal. Libertarians love this guy. I would probably accustom him closer to Tim Pool, Tulsi Gabbard, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. when it comes to his policy on the libertarian side of things. He's also progressive economics. Again, Tulsi Gabbard, very much, in the same ballpark here. He's also, as governor, had multiple budget surpluses in the hundreds of millions, which this is mostly due to the fact that he kept vetoing every single, thing he didn't like. He used the veto 92 times in his first term, which, honestly, I respect it, and it, gave him a budget surplus he could brag about. I can respect that. Also, education was seen as a huge improvement under his term as governor, as test grades went up, more people were getting a high school diploma, and more people were going to college and getting at least an associate's degree. So that is another good thing from his term as governor. He's also a strong supporter of energy independence and is strongly opposed to any form of gun control. Hell, even after mass shootings, he is still keeping his feet in the sand, firm in the sand, that he is pro-Second Amendment, and that's pretty cool. Cons, he supports Medicare for all, a single-payer healthcare system. As governor, he attempted to give Montana a single-payer healthcare system based off of Canada's system. Guess what? It failed massively. Our number 3 candidate and the number 1 Democrat is incumbent Senator Jon Tester. I think everyone saw Jon Tester coming in as the top Democrat here. You probably thought he was going to come in at 1 or 2. No, he's number 3. Pros, he's extremely popular as a United States Senator. I'm pretty sure he's got a 60+% approval rating. It's at least 55%, but I don't think it's higher than 70. It's somewhere around there. He supports energy independence, as a lot of Democrats in Montana do. I think it's part of their party platform, which, good on them. He also opposes Citizens United, as a lot of populists do, including those on the Republican aisle, such as Donald Trump, Josh Hawley, J.D. Vance, etc. He is also pro-Second Amendment, despite, voting for some moderate gun control legislation, though I'm not going to hold that against him. He also opposes the Patriot Act, and not in a way that a Democrat would because it was passed under George W. Bush. He does it in a way similar to someone like Rand Paul or Thomas Massie would from a libertarian point of view, defending the Fourth Amendment and all that. Cons, he is open to socialist policies. He has said he supports Medicare for all, and before you say that will hurt him big in 2024, guess what? He said this on the campaign trail in 2018, and he won, so sorry. Also, he's liberal on immigration. He's not far left like Steve Bullock is, but still, he supports things like DACA. Now, going on next to our number 2 candidate, and the number 2 Republican is businessman Team Sheii. And no, it's not because I support this guy for Senate. That's not why he's so high on the list. Stop thinking that. Pros, he's amazing on agriculture issues, as it's his number 1 issue on his website. I believe that's what that means anyway. As, of course, he's taken a focus on helping farmers in the state of Montana. And guess what? There's a lot of farmers in Montana. Jon Tester is a farmer. Also, he supports Social Security and Medicare, which is going to help you in any state. I don't care what. Also, he, as a businessman, he donated and upgraded his local hospitals and ICU care in his hometown, which better in better care for pregnant women. I'm just saying, Republicans said they don't care about this issue, but he has proven that he's cared and has done something about it. Just saying. Also, he supports a universal private healthcare system. That me, and I love that kind of policy. And yeah. Also, he's a climate conservationist, mostly on the side of farmers, but you get what I mean. Cons, he's a political unknown, and this one's a question mark. He's backed by the establishment. I looked at his endorsements. He has not been backed by Mitch McConnell, but he has been backed by people like John Barrasso and John Thune. He's also been backed by people like Ted Cruz and Martha Blackburn. It seems there's a consensus on this guy that people want him to win the nomination more than Matt Rosendale. Sorry, y'all. I don't like Matt Rosendale that much. And our number one candidate and the number one Republican is Governor Greg John Forte. This should have been a no-brainer to y'all. It should have been. Now, I have a story, as I've got a Discord server, as some of y'all might know. If you don't, well, now you do. There's a guy in there, he goes by Cypher, and one day we were talking about the Montana Senate race, right? So, and he was like, yeah, and he believed that John Tester had a chance to win, unless the Republicans ran one guy, and that was Greg John Forte. Me, being a sarcastic smartass, said, man, you guys are just scared of John Forte. And he said, yep. Yeah, that was a great conversation. But why is Greg John Forte so great, and why do Democrats seem to be afraid of this guy? But he's not running for Senate, but he's still the strongest candidate who could have ran. Pros, he's a philanthropist. He has done philanthropy in his life. He supports medical marijuana usage, which is going to help Montana a lot, considering there's a lot of disabled veterans in the state. He also acknowledges humans cause climate change, which, if you're a Republican, you might not think that's a pro. I'm only putting it as a pro because guess what? That might, and I mean might, help him with independent voters. Also, he's a trade protectionist, which is going to help you no matter where you are. He's also extremely popular, with his approval being 58 to 33, a plus 15% approval rating. That's a good... No, that's 25. I can't do math. That's a plus 25% approval rating, which is as good as Tester's, if not a little worse. What are some cons about this guy? He's pretty far right on abortion. He only supports an abortion to take place when the mother's life is in danger. He opposes any sort of minimum wage increases. He opposes price control on prescription drugs, which the Trump administration did do without his support, without a few Republican support. It was pretty much a bipartisan thing of opposition and support. And he's also a 2020 election truther. So what'd you guys think? Did you think my list was garbage? Did you think it was great? Tell me down in the comments. Don't forget to like and share as well. This is the Chaotic One saying, peace.